Intro coming in. Hello, and welcome back to Retrieving Sanity with your podcast host Keegan, and this is your podcast for all mental health, addiction recovery issues, and topics. I'm trying to change up that intro, so bear with me because that's been just drilled into my head by myself for the last 2 years. So it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. S- but I hope that you've been having a good December thus far, and I really hope that you're able to, well, just kind of get a sense of self because during this time of year, whenever everything's dark and gloomy, it's kind of dark, and that's not just a like physical or metaphorical thing. It's both a physical time of darkness and a metaphorical time of darkness of the soul, if you will, because it's kind of the hibernation period for basically everything if you think about it. And we're just kind of the weird ones sitting here plowing through everything saying, we got to produce. Why though? And that's kind of what just keeps a lot of us in our shit, if I had to be honest, is just not being ourselves, not doing the things that we're kind of meant to do. If we're meant to do anything, is there such a thing as fate or destiny per se? Who knows? But I do know that being myself has really been the most liberating thing I've ever been able to experience. And I've only scratched the surface, and it's incredulous of how amazing it is. Like, I is that a word? Incredulous? I don't know. I think it is, but it's just been absolutely breathtaking to be honest, because I never really thought that I could get there. I never thought I could be me. I always thought that I had to perform. I always thought that I had to do something and think something different than what I was feeling. And I don't know exactly when it started, but I do know it started around 3, 4 years old. And I can remember some instances of just because I felt a certain way, I was wrong for feeling it. So that's not right to feel. So let's think of how to not do that. And come to find out, well, whenever we do that, we really separate ourselves from our bodies and just kind of let things go all sorts of not good. And what I mean by that is whenever we sacrifice ourselves to let others dictate how we should be, who we should be, how we treat ourselves, and the like, we're doing ourselves the biggest disservice ever. Like, I think that is sin right there. Sin is supposed to be what, divorce from divine per se, if you will. It's supposed to be a disconnect from God or goddess, or really I don't even think sin is in much of the other parts of the world besides the Christianity. And maybe I don't really know too much because I've been raised a certain way, and I've had to expand my own stuff, and to the point where it's like, okay, I'm trying to deal with the stuff that's been implanted in my head. So let me deal with that stuff because it's not just in my head, it's in my psyche, it's in my soul almost, because it was that or die. Because going with the flock meant survival whenever you're young. And whenever everyone just keeps doing the same thing, where the hell does that bring us? Right, wherever the flock goes. And I don't know about you, but for me, oh, no, I can't do it anymore. I just fucking can't. Like, I'm trying my fucking best, but holy hell, like, I'm doing what it takes to get by, essentially, whenever it comes to money and the like, so that I can do the podcast, so I can try to help people with their mental health, with their addiction, with their traumas, whatever have you. Try to get a nonprofit started. Like, I'm trying to play this rat race just so that I can help other people with their rat race. Does that make sense? I hope so. But that's the weird thing, right? Like, normal society says you don't do that, but you kind of do too, right? Like, you're supposed to provide for other people. You're supposed to do a service for someone, you're supposed to make objects, so you're supposed to put objects together, you're supposed to do something, right? But if you're working with people, you're not really doing a whole lot, are you? But also at the same time, why are you trying to help them get ahead in other areas, or why are you trying to do and there's so fucking much that I see wrong with the way we treat our fellow humans. It's not even something that is even fucking remotely hard to do. Sometimes it is. Sometimes I will admit, treating another human like a decent human whenever they've done nothing but stomp all over you and your boundaries and everything like that, yeah, that can be fucking hard. But what I am trying to say is that in the majority of moments, people that are acting that way are acting out of their hurts, their pains, their traumas, and we don't act our age whenever we're triggered. We act the age that we were whenever it happened. That's why people can seem childish or they can seem immature or whatever because of a certain situation or happenstance. It's because something messed them up in the past and now they've got not really a lot of good ways to cope with it per se. And so the way that they do is what's been carrying them along this whole time because it's a survival adaptation. And aren't we all just trying to survive at the end of the day? I mean, I know I am, but I want to do more than that. I bet you do too. And dude, it's hard. It's really, really hard. It's not something that it is and it isn't at the same time. And you can call me stupid, you can call me crazy, you can call me woo woo, whatever the hell you want. I don't care at this point. Like I'll care to a point because I'm just a sensitive little whatever you want to call me. I'm sensitive. And that was something I was running from for a very long time. My emotions, my feelings, because they were wrong. I wasn't supposed to have them. If they were meant for girls and I was meant to only be happy, angry, hungry, and horny, I can only be the fuck does that leave for everything else? Like, I'm sorry, but have you seen like the feelings wheel? There's a lot of different feelings out there. Check it out. It could actually make you go, "Oh, that's what I'm feeling." Interesting, because it kind of breaks it down into little sections that are bite-sized. So if you don't know your emotions very well, you can sit there and you can go, let's look at that emotion. I recognize that one. Let's go out a little bit more. Can we get a little bit more like refined, if you will? Un momento. But whenever we're sitting there and we're really trying to survive, a lot of the times we're told how to behave. We're told how to act. We're told how to obey the law of the land so that we don't get in trouble. Maybe we don't get other people in trouble with us. Who knows? But that's the thing. We're kind of brought up, and whenever you're brand new to a card game or something, and it's you're sitting there and you're like, all right, guys, like, what's the rules again? I can play what? Okay. And then takes about like 5 turns or whatever before you're like, "Oh, yeah," like, some people pick up card games, no problem, and depends on the game you're playing too, of course, but everyone has that game, a card game, board game, whatever it is. Most people don't pick it up and are good at it the first time right away. It takes a lot of repetition, it takes a lot of know-how and just experience, and whenever we're growing up, that's what we're doing. We're getting experience and we're trying to get it from reliable and valuable sources such as our caretakers. But whenever we're trying to please them, what happens whenever we sacrifice ourselves for them? Like, I'm sorry, but that's the definition of child sacrifice right there. Fuck, right? Like that's child sacrifice. That's sitting there and making your child sacrifice themselves for you. I mean, it can sound harsh, but if you shame your child for expressing emotions, for expressing how they feel, for expressing their thoughts, If you tell them that they're wrong and they need to be quiet and not challenge authority, then you're essentially doing them. You're setting them up for failure. You're setting them up to not have critical thinking skills that are going to save their ass in the future because they need to have everything laid out for them explicitly how you want it done. They can't think outside the box. Guess what happens to that? Well, if I can't do this, but I can't do this, I guess I can do this. Oh, I can't do that, but I can't do that. I guess I can do this and can't do that. Definitely can't fucking do that. And whatever it looks like, people are going to find a way to express or numb their emotions. They're going to try to run from them as best as they can. They're- And we call this running from ourselves, running from our demons. I'm sorry, but if you actually know what the word demon is, it's actually guiding spirits. So you're trying to run from the things that are trying to guide you where you need to go? Why? Why are you running from the things that are trying to tell you, go this way? This is going to help. No, what a lot of us are running from are our vices. We're running from the things that are pulling us into our own personal hell. And damn, those things are really fast, they're really sticky, and they can find you no matter where you're hiding. It's really shitty. But the best way to defeat them, to conquer them, to make them your friend, to, I don't know, just handle them or take care of them rather, is to face them head on. Start to care for them. Say, hey, like, I recognize that you're a wounded part of me, or you're a wounded part of someone else that I have attached. Like, I've decided to hold on to because it served a purpose, I thought, back in the day. So it's still serving a purpose now, right? And a lot of the time it's not. Because a lot of the time, if something for someone else was given to us and we hold on to it, it's probably for that person's comfort. Maybe, not all the time, but a good portion of the time, I'd say. And if we keep holding on to that expectation for every other circumstance or situation that's somewhat similar, then we treat people the same way as that person did. Sorry, hang on. We will end up treating people the same way we treat or feel about that person that did that to us. So it's a really cruel cycle, like all this shame, all this societal expectations, all this. It's just being a human is fucking hard, okay? Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Being a human is hard, and we want it to be easy, kind of, right? I don't think we want it to be easy. Now, it sounds nice, right? Like, easy sounds nice, but have you ever played a game like on super easy mode? And sometimes, don't get me wrong, it's better to play that at the end of a really long, hard day or something, so you don't have to stress too much. But if you're not in it for the story or you're in it for the experience, then I mean, do you really want it so that it's a cakewalk per se? If you do, cool, more to you. But for me, I'm an adventurous person. I like doing weird stuff. I like just being different and it's not like being different. It's just I like expressing myself and I'm not I'm a weird like I don't even know what to call it besides weird. I'm a weird and a weird, okay? Because it means I'm writing my own fate. I'm writing my own destiny. I'm going to choose what it is going to look like. I'm deciding what it's going to feel like in the future for myself. I don't get to necessarily choose all the situations and exacts and everything, but I get to say, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to aim for, and I'm going to do my best to get there. And I can't do that if I'm sitting there trying to make everyone else happy all the time. And it's a really shitty thing, because that's how I survived this whole time was making everyone else happy by doing what I thought everyone wanted me to do. I was sitting there trying to read people's minds and act accordingly so that I could either survive or really survive. Sometimes it was manipulation. I won't lie because that's survival sometimes is like, I really don't want to get in trouble for that. So we're going to do this. And it's not like, oh, I did something bad. I'm going to manipulate sometimes, sure, but it's more along the lines of I think they're going to be mad at me if I think or do this or say this, so I'm just not going to, or I'm going to do it in like a sleight of hand kind of way so they don't notice. It's some messed up stuff. So, like I said, a lot of it is just facing stuff head on. A lot of the times, the right thing to do is the thing we don't want to do, and I fucking hate that. So, I had asked one of my decks what message I should bring to the audience today, what I should talk about, what the audience maybe needed to hear along, well, with myself. And so I pulled from the Dreams of Gaia right here. And as I was shuffling, uh, this card came out. It was the, you can't see it too well there, the 10 of Air. So I'm just going to read off a little bit of the keywords and key phrases and then just kind of paraphrase the rest of it because it's 2 pages. And I'm sure you don't want to hear me ramble off 2 pages worth of a book, or maybe you do. I don't know. Leave a comment if you'd rather hear word for word or paraphrasing for future episodes. Oh, also, I got a new watch because my last one died in the shower. Yes, you can take my last one in the shower. I had it for 3 years and it just went. I was like, the fuck? So I got a new one. Yay. So much better. I think it's the same price as that one, too. Check them out. They're pretty cool. Anyways, without further ado, the 10 of Air. Keywords. Oh, and it was upright as well for anyone that is like, oh, I wonder if it was upright or not. Keywords: individuation, self actualization, liberation, altered perception, new paradigms, great mystery, paradox, potential. Key phrases: a time of independence. Say goodbye to the public persona. No longer bound by another's opinion. Walk your own path. Humans are paradoxical by nature. See and know your potential. The self is whole, and time to grow up and leave home. So that last one is always like, oh, what? And that one, it sounds kind of mean, right? Like time to grow up and leave home. But remember, whenever we are inflicted with trauma, we act the age we were whenever we received that wound. So if a lot of us, like myself, have been operating off of trauma since age 3 or 4, I may have been out of the house for a while, but have I really been out of the house up here in my own head? What about in my heart? It's kind of hard to say, right? Some people say you can't be yourself until you're too far away, until you're far enough away from home. Sorry, I almost messed that up. Let me say that again. S.J. Tucker says in a song that she couldn't be herself until she was far enough away from home. And I can totally fucking resonate with that. I couldn't be myself whenever I was back home. Not even a little bit. I mean, I could and I couldn't. People will say they love me for who I am and just my little spazzy self, but whenever you're growing up and I annoy the shit out of everyone and everyone tells me you're annoying as hell, you're breathing too loud, and you move too much and you ask too many questions, it's kind of like, fuck. I'm just going to go ahead and sit still and try to not exist. You know what my favorite costume for Halloween was? A ninja, because no one can see ninjas. Go figure. I always thought it was because, like, God, cool. No, it's because I was expressing my shame. I was expressing how I wanted to feel, and I was trying to do it in a badass or kind of whatever, like they're operating, but they're stealthy. They aren't seen. I want to get by in life without being seen. It's how I grew up. Like, I don't know about you, but doing that really fucking sucked. I've gotten to the point where I'm figuring out that my posture sucks because I was so ashamed of just existing. Like, holy shit. Like, whenever you can sit there and just like, I don't know if you heard that, but my chest pops just from stretching my shoulders back, my shoulders will pop just from pulling them back to where they should be, like where someone with confidence actually stands, like shoulders back a little bit, not like out, but like just relaxed back, chest up a little bit, like head high. Like I have to force this. I have to force myself to stand normal because I've been trying to hide for so fucking long. And I can tell you right now that accepting myself as best as I can every day is the most liberating thing that I've been able to do. To be able to look at myself either in the mirror or in my own head is and being able to say, I see you, I feel you, it's okay, we're not there anymore. Like it's it's great, you know? And I don't know where I'd be if I couldn't take small steps towards that. But the shitty thing is that it took a lot of pain to get there. It took a lot. And I think that's why a lot of people don't want to try to heal because we get used to the pain. We get used to the numb. We get used to running from ourselves and shrinking to let evil within us win. And I don't know how to help everyone except for just get as many people on the show and be like, hey, look, you may be going through something that this person went through too, and they made it out. They could be themselves. They could show up. They could set boundaries to tell people, you're not about to step over that line and invade my personal space, my personal self. You're not about to tell me I can't have agency. You're not about to tell me that I can't be self empowered. You're not about to tell me that I can't do X, Y, or Z without your permission or authority. People don't want to hear that. People don't want free radicals. Free radicals are the same thing that are supposed to be bad for us, right? So we're, I'm not trying to say that we're fucked, but I'm trying to say that we're bent out of shape and we can help each other, but we have to really help ourselves first. As much as we want to help other people, we really have to work on ourselves. And we can do both at the same time. Because if you were to just say, I'm going to only work on myself alone, then you're not really spreading the magic that is connection and letting people know where you're at. I could do a lot better job at it. I'm really bad at living under a rock, but I was kind of raised that way. And that's an excuse right there, if you want to call it that. I'm saying that I'm identifying something that I need to address. I'm not blaming it. I'm identifying. I was kind of raised subconsciously, not I was not told, don't call your parents whenever you grow up. Don't call your grandparents when you grow up. Don't call your friends when you grow up, that kind of thing. No, quite the opposite. It was you want to stay in contact with them, but whenever I'm living underneath that like expectation kind of thing, it's like, why would I want to reach out to you if I don't feel safe around you? And then also at the same time, it's I had something else right there. Sorry, brain went. "Blah." But hang on, maybe the brain will come back. Hmm. I wish I could just hit instant rewind in my brain sometimes, but it's like a little record skip, just bleep. I don't know. If it comes back, it comes back. What I can say though is that oh, about reaching out to other people and stuff. No, what I was subconsciously instilled with was a fantastic work ethic. And that usually means no time for anyone but whatever I'm working on and the immediate people around me. So Ugh. Like, don't get me wrong, I love producing, I love being creative, I love doing this kind of thing, I love it, I wouldn't do it otherwise. It's really, really hard to get to the point where I'm confident enough to speak candidly and openly and vulnerably with myself and y'all, and to get to this point is literally taken years of therapy, self-work, and shadow work, all sorts of different things to get me in recombobulated, if you will. And I'm just trying to say that other people can do that for themselves too, but it takes some self-advocacy. See, I'm even bad at saying it. Self-advocacy. There we go. It takes a little bit of self-advocacy to yourself, for yourself, by yourself. Sounds weird, but maybe I'm just that kind of weird. I don't know. But I think if we can all understand and recognize that we're trying our best to just kind of live, get by, and have fun, spread love, maybe even create stuff like memories or experiences, I think we could really accelerate and just be wonderful for each other if we could just be there for ourselves first. But again, kind of like the Tenebere said, humans are paradoxical. In some ways, we're going to heal and we're going to accidentally either push people away that we thought we really wanted or could be close by or somewhat not. And we're also going to find ourselves in situations that we never ever see ourselves in and we don't know what to do. And a lot of us yearn for that. A lot of us want that like unknown feeling. But at the same time, do we? Because a lot of us are afraid of success. Some of us are afraid of failure. Which one are you? Like, do you fear success because you don't know what is beyond the corner, what's beyond the door? Or do you fear failure because you're trying to, just stay in the comfort stuff or whatever? Hang on, is it backwards? No. Sorry, I'm going on a little bit too long here. So I will end off with saying this. I gotta say, I love every single guest that has ever been on the show. And I love every single person that has ever listened to or watched the show because it's just been a game changer for so many different people. And I don't know where the future is going to go, but I just have to say that it wouldn't have been possible without my wonderful guests. And also, I want to say a huge shout out to Simba and his husband Mark, because I mean they're awesome and they helped me redo my trailer. I was like, holy shit, okay. So speaking of that, y'all should check it out on YouTube. It's pretty cool. But no, Simba was the first one to really help get that fire going of like support. Like, yeah, you can do it. Let's do it. I'll help you out. Like, okay, cool. I got help. Woo! And then just stuff happened. So here we are. But with humans being paradoxical, we can say that as much as we learn, we also forget other things. So we may learn some lessons, we may forget some along the way, and we may relearn those lessons just in a different fashion. But I think it's just important that we don't beat ourselves up. I think it's important that we love ourselves as best as we can in each and every moment. And I think if we can show ourselves compassion, we'll show everyone else a little bit more compassion because it's just that kind of stuff is contagious as well. Love, happiness, all that stuff. But maybe sometimes that someone's wound is feeling happy. Maybe they're afraid of it getting ripped away again at the sight of just feeling it. So maybe that's their wound. Maybe they're just afraid of being happy. And so the mere thought of being happy is enough to deter them from even trying. It's a little food for thought. But with that, we're going to go ahead and end this here. Thank you for listening to me ramble here on Retrieving Sanity. And we are actually going to have, well, hopefully, should have an interview with Troy at 2 p.m. tomorrow Central. And he is going to talk to us all about nutrition and how it affects our mental health. So be sure to check that out if you've been having any issues with your diet or anything like that. And I mean, we've got a whole lot of other stuff. I'm trying to get stuff like promos made. I'm trying to get stuff pushed out and trying to schedule more stuff in the future and all that. But that's a whole lot of stuff all at once, and I can only do so much at one time. So just bear with me. We're going to get it all taken care of. But oh, that was one other thing. Nat, after our last episode, told me that my card was all about rest and time for a nap kind of thing. So that's kind of my 2026 message is rest, and I had to define it. And I think rest for me is going to be learning more than I produce. Does that make sense? So I'm going to be reading a lot of books and stuff like that, watching a lot of videos and a lot of research, but it's a different approach. I don't know if it's more relaxed or not, but it feels like it's a different approach. Like maybe it's a change of gears I need. I don't know. But before I continue rambling, I'm stopped. So thank you again for listening to Retrieving Sanity. We'll see you in the future. And until then, try to love yourself, love others if you can, but please try to love yourself first. And I'll see you in the future. Much love. Pshtan.